Okay, it's been a while since I've made an update video. Last time I did, I was in Thailand and I made a video about why I left the UK. Today's video is going to be about how I hit 10k a month in dollars, and then I ended up losing around half of my clients. So I've got my computer open here. I've got my Stripe account in front of me, so I'm going to be going through the numbers. I'm going to be going through kind of like the progress of what kind of happened after I left the UK, and give you a bit of a backstory as to what actually led to this moment of what I was doing before I actually left the UK. Alright, so let me take you back to when I was living in London. Right? I was born in London, I was raised in London, lived there all my life. Obviously I dropped out of school at 17 because I didn't want to go to university. But I wanted to teach myself how to actually make money online and have that freedom, you know. I knew that I didn't want to work in an office job. That's not something I wanted to do. But that being said, when I left school, obviously I didn't have any experience, I didn't have any kind of qualifications or anything. So I had to find a way to actually get myself a foot in the door. So what I ended up doing was, as soon as I got out of school, I was a very shy kid, so I got into sales. I was doing cold calling, and essentially I was selling this new software, this startup kind of lead generation thing for businesses. Didn't really end up doing too well, but I learned a lot of lessons from that. Then I went on to start delivering some pizzas so I could actually make some money, because I wasn't making money from the sales job. I basically told them that I'd work for free. Ended up being really shit at the role, so they didn't pay me, which is yeah, to be expected. But I can talk about that in another day. And essentially when I started selling pizzas, I was making around, I believe it was around £5 an hour or so. And yeah, the motorbikes were really old. I've got a whole video about how I almost died delivering pizzas. That's on my channel as well. And then after that, I started delivering food for Deliveroo. Then my phone got stolen, so I left that job. Then I actually found a job selling cupcakes in a shopping mall called Brent Cross in London. And there I was making around £6.70 an hour. Now, with that all being said, why was I doing this? I was doing this with the intention of saving up as much money as I possibly could, and then investing that into learning about the skill set that I wanted to learn, which at the time was SEO, and it still is the main way that I make money. So in terms of SEO, what that is basically you just rank websites on the first page of Google. So I managed to rank for some very easy keywords on the first page, and that helps me to get my first job within an agency. So how did it go from there? I got my first job within an agency in London. I worked there for around a year. Then I went kind of full-time with my own business, and that's when I left the agency, and I actually moved in with my dad near Cambridge. And from there I wanted to actually focus full-time on building up my own business. I had a client referral come in from the owner of that agency, so I already had one client that was bringing in around £1,000 a month. So I had a base to start off with at that point. And I just kept building, and I got to around, I want to say around 1.5 to 2k a month at one point with all of the clients that I had. So no like major success or anything like that, just a little bit of income coming in. And then after that, I just went through a phase where, you know, I hated being in the UK. I wanted to start a new kind of business model. I ventured into trying to acquire businesses. I set up a whole team to go out and do that, and that kind of failed. And from there, that's around the time when COVID happened, and from there I was at home just depressed all the time. I was not a fan of the UK at all, and I wasn't making any money. Like I had gotten good results for the clients that I worked with, but after a 12-month period when they're ranking on the first page, they would no longer want to pay me, right? So at that point I wasn't making any money. And then I actually managed to find a remote job in Cambridge with a company that's got like 6,000 employees. And I started making 50k a year before taxes. Now that is insane, because I didn't have that much experience, and my skills, you could argue, were not actually suited for that position. But I managed to get that role. You could call it luck, you could also call it just sheer perseverance, because I did apply for more than 100 roles. And I also had another offer for another job, which was around 30k, but this company came in with like a crazy bid, which obviously I couldn't say no to. So I'm gonna pull up a quick timeline here of actually what happened. So towards the end of 22, when I had that remote job making 50k a year before taxes, I ended up going to Turkey towards the end of 2022, or it was around the November, December time. And some of January as well. In January, my contract with that role was about to finish. I had already worked there for 1 year, then my contract got extended for another year, and this was coming up to the end of the 2 years. So towards the end of January, this contract was going to expire, so I had to start looking for new work. And that's when I found a role at an agency. I think at the time I only had one job offer, and that was from this agency. I could have probably stuck in there more and tried to get a better job offer, but I didn't. So anyway, this agency promised me that after 6 months of working with them, they would hire me as a contractor and I'd be able to travel the world, because I had gone to Turkey and I had experienced how good my lifestyle could be at a fraction of the cost in the UK. I decided that I wanted to travel full time and just work remotely. So they had agreed that after 6 months I'd be able to do that. When I joined, no, actually I think initially they had said within the first few months, and then they extended it to 6 months, and then I was like, okay, whatever. So yeah, these guys, they essentially promised me that I'd be able to travel as soon as possible, but I did not want to wait 6 months to be able to do that, or 3 months, or whatever it was, because I had tasted what it was like being in Turkey. Now I'm back in my room, in my dad's house, not going out at all. It's just a small town in the middle of nowhere. It's literally got nothing to do, and it was extremely boring. It was rainy, obviously. It's February time, so when I started that position, I knew I couldn't do this like for more than a month. So within 2 weeks in that role, I booked a trip to Albania, and I had never been to Albania before. I'd never done any research on it before, but I wanted to get out of that situation. The depression that I felt coming from Turkey, having sunny weather every single day, having pretty much anything I could want for literally a fraction of the cost, and living a really good life, living like a king, to coming back to the UK where I'm living in my room, literally not going out. It was a massive shock to my system, and at that point I knew I had to take a risk. I had over a year of savings left from my previous job, so I knew that I had a bit of a cushion to make things work. And I also got some help from my close friend Sean, who actually helped me by giving me his outreach system and helped me to actually put together something that I could use to go out and get clients with. So I was pretty confident in that because I knew it had worked for him. So I knew that if I implemented it, it was a matter of time before I got the results as well. So March 2023, I go to Albania. Within the first week, I meet my, who is now my girlfriend, and we've been together for over a year and a half now. So obviously that was a very good move, right? I've gone to Albania, I've met, a person I'd never imagined meeting in my life, especially at this current stage. And currently in a very happy relationship. And right now, this is where the story gets interesting. So I was in Albania for around 2 months, then I went to Turkey for 3 months, and I wasn't making any money. I was implementing what my friend had taught me. The first couple of months when I was in Albania, I wasn't consistent with actually implementing what I had learned from him. But then I believe when I was in Turkey, I had to take it more seriously because it had already been a few months and I wasn't making any money. And then I started taking it seriously. And I believe it was around August or September time when I've got my first client. I just need to double check this. Yeah, so it was around August when I actually started making some money. I made 1.5k that month after all the fees and stuff like that. It's like 1.4k, and then I have to give 10% of my revenue to my friend just because he shared his system with me. Obviously I wouldn't be making this money if he hadn't shared that system with me. So August is when I started making some money. I made 1.5. The following month in September I made 1k, so my income actually went down. I believe that's because I had 3 clients at the time. In August I had 3 clients start. One of them we stopped working together because there were some issues with their Google Merchant Center. And then October time, I'm just gonna go through the revenue numbers now. October I made 1.5k again, so I probably got another client for 500 a month. And then November was a big month. That was when I had a really good month. For the first time I made around 4.8k after the taxes or the fees from Stripe. It's around 4.7k. And then December, if we go to December the 1st to 31st. Okay, December was when I made a very good amount of money as well. I made 7.3k, so 7.2 after the Stripe fees. January, this is when, in January 2024, I went to Thailand after Turkey. And in January, the amount of money I made was 7.8. So yeah, it was roughly the same as the previous month in December. And then February was the breakthrough month where I hit 10k in dollars. So I made 8.3k and 8.2k. That's in pounds GBP. So it's actually slightly more in dollars. I believe in dollars it's slightly over 10,000. But the Stripe account, the money that I received in Stripe wasn't the only income that I had that month, because I had also another project which I took an upfront payment for 3k. So technically that month I had actually made 11,000 pounds in GBP, in Great British pounds. So converted to dollars, that's, I don't know what that is in dollars, but it's well over $12,000 for that month. And then things started to take a bit of a hit. I started losing some clients in March. I made 6.8k, so my revenue was down around 17 or 18%. And then from there, just revenue started going down. April of 2024 was 4.5k, so again 34% down from the previous month. At this point I'm losing clients at a rapid rate. Like I said, you know, like half of my clients basically. And then May 2024 I had made 4k, so 11% less than the previous month. I believe I lost one client that month. June 2024, where are we at? Then it slightly went up again. It went to 3.7k because I had a new client come on board. July 2024 was 4.5k, so it was up 20% from the previous month. And then August, I believe it's been 4k in revenue this month. So hovering around 4k a month GBP right now, so that's around, I believe, 5k a month. This isn't profit, by the way, so I'm operating at around a 60 to 70% profit margin, so you have to account for that as well. Yeah, so that's where I'm at right now. I've basically lost half my clients. Compared to February where I made 8k, this month I made 4k. Now, that being said, last year in 2023 in August, I hadn't made any money, or I had made like 1.5k. So it's quite a big difference if you think about it. Yeah, so if we compare to the previous year. Okay, so August 2023 I had made 1.5, and obviously this year I've made 4k, which is over 100% improvement, which is great. So 1.5k last year, this time last year compared to this year, which was 4k in revenue. So what's my plan now moving forward? The plan is this. The plan is to continue outreach, continue what I'm already doing because it's working, it is bringing in clients. I need to fix the service delivery aspect of the business to reduce my churn and make sure that I'm keeping more of the clients that I actually get. From that point, what I need to do is come up with a new offer that is more profitable for the business, because for me to scale to 100k a month, which is my target, with this current offer that I have, each client that I've got right now is worth around 500 a month. On average, maybe 700, because I've got a couple that are paying me 1,000 a month right now. If I was to scale that to 100k a month, that's literally 100, like between 50 and 100. No, it's between 100 and 200 clients for me to get to 100k a month, which is just, you know, that's gonna be such a pain in the ass to manage. What I want to do is build an offer that I can actually make a lot of money up front, deliver great results, and then downsell the clients to a monthly retainer. So that's my plan moving forward. But yeah, I mean, in terms of all of the lessons that I've learned, everything that I've picked up along the way, I'm gonna be able to share these now on the channel and actually go through kind of like the lessons that I've learned along the way from, you know, leaving the UK, taking the risk, actually getting to a point now where I've got income coming in. I'm currently in Sofia, Bulgaria, staying in a 2-bedroom apartment in the city center. I paid around 1.3k for the month for it. So doing all these things now, I have a lot of freedom. I have the opportunity to go pretty much anywhere I want, within reason, of course, and you know, be able to work on my business and be able to grow and expand in every single area of life. So I'm going to be able to share the lessons that I've learned along the way, and there's a lot of time that I've wasted. If you go back on the history of this channel, I think I started my journey when I was around 19. So on this channel, but I had started obviously way before that. And all those mistakes that I've made over the past, 6 or 7 years or whatever it may be, all the lessons that I've learned, I'm going to be able to pass that down. Now, I'm not saying I have all the answers. I'm just going to be sharing what I've learned to date, and hopefully that can help some people cut their learning curve and get the results much faster. I believe it took me around, I started my business in 2018 officially on Companies House, and it took me around 6 years to get to 10K a month. Now, that is a crazy amount of time, and that is a crazy amount of time that I've wasted. I'm going to be sharing all the lessons as to why that happened throughout my future videos, and hopefully that can save you some time and you don't have to go through all of the mistakes that I made. So if you want to learn more about my journey, if you want to learn more about the lessons that I've learned from hitting 10K a month and now losing half of my clients, and then planning to make a rebound and come back up to 10K a month levels and then to 100K after that, then follow my journey, and I'll look forward to answering any questions that you might have in the comment sections down below. But yeah, from now on I'm going to be consistently uploading, like maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks, just sharing my journey, sharing my insights along the way and the lessons that I've picked up through this journey. So make sure you subscribe, like this video and comment to make sure that this video gets pushed and reaches as many people as possible. Thanks for watching.